Well, it's been a minute since I last released a video episode for this podcast. I think it's been like a month or more back. I don't know, I'll check, but that was episode 1 of season 2 of the 5 to 9 Job podcast. I was really proud of putting out that episode simply because it was my first video episode. It was about 24 minutes, just 24 minutes of me speaking straight into the camera. Wow, I had never done that, and it was clearly a good experience for me. I sort of learned a few things about the kind of gestures that I was actually worried about in the episodes, but it was way worse than I thought. My forehead was shining. Some of the words weren't so audible just because the phone, I was using the phone's microphone. And well, I guess that's the learning curve. And unfortunately, I lost the phone that I used that day. So I was using an iPhone 14 that day to record. Unfortunately, like anyone that has been listening to 5 to 9 Job podcast will know, I had my phone stolen. So now I am recording on a new machine that I have been using to sort of create content for the business, but I don't know how it goes. So I want to put this episode out just to kind of test the quality and see if it will be good enough, or if I actually just need to, kick myself in the butt and buy a new camera. Okay, I think that's enough for the intro. Let's get into the episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video episode of the 5 to 9 Job podcast, though it's also just a normal bonus episode for those listening on Spotify, Pocket Casts, okay, like the audio version anyway. And you guys will forgive me for reading from the iPad today, but I don't think there is a problem with me just referring to my notes once in a while, but it's nice to see you, or at least it's nice for you to see me again. Yeah, I'll try to do this more often simply because I think I'm going to be in front of the camera a little bit more, especially as I try to do the things I want to do. There is no doubt that I need to be more and more in front of the camera now that I am taking on a more active role in the industry. I need to build myself as a thought leader, as an intellectual, public intellectual, and for that, people need to actually, I should say, attach my face to the words I speak, to the articles I write, to the videos that I produce, to the audio and content that I produce. So I'm going to just be sort of slapping my face onto everything that I can put it onto, even billboards. Never know you guys will see me on that big billboard at Fairway. Anyway, going on with the episode, I think it's going to be a relatively short one because I lost most of my notes in the iPhone. You guys, what happens for these podcasts or for the bonus episodes, where the thoughts that I actually talk about in the episode come from, is that all through the week, all through the day, whenever I see something interesting, listen to something interesting, I just quickly jot it down in my notes app. So I literally had like 4-6 different notes that were saved on my phone, like pages of different things, like different categories, one about life, one about the podcast, and then another one about business, and then another one. So I lost all that, and now I am trying to rebuild that, but all that content has literally gone into the bonus episodes that I have already recorded. For context, I think I have like 7 pre-recorded episodes, although I've not yet edited them, just because I now know that I need to have a little more on me in case something like that ever happened, whereby I were to lose my phone or I was to lose my laptop and I can't record for 2-3 weeks. I need to at least have the content out there already on the cloud, ready for me to just copy, drop into the Spotify creators page or onto YouTube, and it will post it regardless of the fact that I don't have my machines on me. So I'm just trying to make the whole model more sustainable and more not reliant on the devices that I have, that I can still run this podcast from anywhere, literally. Anyway, I have been recording content for the real estate side. That's why my voice is a bit husky and my eyes are literally, you guys, my eyes are about to give way in front of all these lights, but they are necessary for you guys to see me, otherwise I am very dark. If you guys have seen me in person. Well, okay, so an update on the podcast. The podcast has been going well. Like I said, the video didn't do as well as I expected it to, but that's okay. It was a learning curve, it was part of the process. So maybe I'll have to change a few things from there, or maybe it's just not my thing. I should focus on the audio, and maybe that's just an excuse. But yeah, it didn't do well, but the other episodes have continued to do just as well as they have been doing, which wasn't much as well. But I'm also just realizing that at the end of the day, I am making this podcast for myself. I listen to every podcast I put out almost like 4 times. Once when I am actually making it, because I am listening to what I'm saying. As you can see from the AirPods, I have like a split-second review. And then I also have the phase when I'm editing, and then when I post it, I listen to it before posting it again, and then I listen to it on my Apple Podcasts. So I made me my biggest fan because I've listened to every episode I have ever put out, and I think that should be it. But yeah, still less of the traction, but I know we'll get there. I know we are definitely delivering more value than we did, and it has continued to get better. The content has continued to get better, and I'm continuing to push myself to make it better. So I think I'll be good. I'll be good. Okay, and then about the other assets of the podcast. I recently made the decision to stop fretting about the graphics. You know, I always get stuck in this analysis paralysis about how the poster should look like, because, you know, I don't do video a lot. So for context, I now have like 50 episodes out, 54 or something like that, last time I checked. So for all those other episodes, what that means is that if I've done video for only one out of those 54, it means I don't have shots for all the other 53. That means I have to do static images like it appears on the YouTube, and then put maybe some captions, maybe try to put some designs, and try to make it appealing so that someone is able to listen to the value that I think I have shared, you know, like, because with the shots I usually share like just the value, not this rambling that I am going on and on about. Anyway, I usually share that, but as obsessing a lot about how the poster looked like, that I have not posted a lot of shots that I know a lot of people would find value in, but it's simply because I need the image to put at the back so that I can put the audio in front. And I've just decided that I'm not going to fret over the graphics. It's stopping me from doing the other work that is actually going to move this podcast forward. And I have decided that with time, I need to bring on someone to actually do like the graphics full time, or just commit and do video. I mean, the easiest part to do would just be commit, do video, edit once, it goes into audio and video, and you also have your shoots done, Raymond. What are you waiting for? So, I mean, it's just this whole kind of debate that you have with yourself as a creator. You weigh the sides, the benefits, and then the kind of investment that you're putting in, and knowing that this is a long-term thing, or you actually have no goal to make or monetize it at all. So, yeah, just make sure that you don't get stuck in that analysis paralysis like I did with the posters. Okay, and then for this week's segment of Creator of the Week, I'm actually going to give this week selfishly to myself. Yes, please. The 5 to 9 Job podcast hosted by Raymond Kirongi is this week's Creator of the Week. How selfish is that? Anyway, the 5 to 9 Job is a podcast that I started that I wanted to share the kind of journey that I have been on and that I am on, while also encouraging people that are going through the same, helping them, and sort of helping them navigate this whole free time that we have that we can actually use to grow. So that's the time from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. Actually using that time intentionally, and then planning out our day, and then just planning out our life and just living a healthier life. So if that is something that you are interested in, if you want to have more content that makes you better, not just in the after hours, but also during the 9 to 5, it's an all-round podcast. Trust me, with the bonus episodes, I share my thoughts. With the Monday episodes, I share something about the 5 to 9. And then with Friday, I share something about the 9 to 5. Some tangible advice to help you with your work, with your entire life. It's an all-round sort of podcast. and maybe I'm too unfocused, but that's the best that I have found out. So anyone that just wants to hop onto that train, or if you know someone who will benefit from listening to this episode, don't be afraid to shoot them a link. I mean, share the episodes. I mean, you can even ask me for headshot search. You can say, this is the guy that is hosting it. You see how handsome it is. I will send you a picture if you're a girl, not if you are a man or a boy, or do you want my picture? I had to take this chance to promote myself, being that this is a video episode. I may not get to do another one for maybe 2 weeks more, so why not be selfish? Anyway, going on to the thoughts that I have been having this week. One is on facing my fear of recording and realizing that this is the one advantage I have over a lot of people. So this one came to me when I was doing the real estate videos. I realized that the one advantage I have to be able to win market share and dominate in the industry is that I'm not afraid to put my face onto my content. I'm not afraid to do video. I have the time to do the video. I have the time to learn, and I should use that to my advantage. I mean, not a lot of I'm going to compare myself to CEOs, yes, but not a lot of CEOs for real estate companies in Uganda are going around doing content to grow their company. They are doing deals, they are making handshakes behind closed doors, they are using connections, they are using the network that they have already built. I don't have the network that they have already built. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, but what else do I have? What other advantage can I play to my hand? And I've realized that, you know what, I am young, that's an advantage, and I can do video, that's another advantage. So why not use it? That's why I've been trying to do as many video, episodes or for the Thrillty business. That's why I've been trying to do as many shots for the podcast that I've been posting on TikTok for my own personal brand, just trying to build that sort of brand around me, that I think will be overall good for me, good for the future, and good for the business. So, and all the other things that I am interested in, because I'm literally doing content for all the things that I am interested in, because I am the face for most of them. So I'm just taking advantage of my advantage. Yeah. And then 2 is to encourage you to just hit record. Actually, this is a follow-up from the one above. If you are afraid to hit record, the fear is not going to go away. You need to override that. You need to actually step out of your comfort zone and hit record. And the other reason I put this in here is that I developed something that might be helpful to you. So it's just a thought that I have that I might get to doing, or I might not, but most likely I will, because I want to get better at video. So the thought that I had is that starting next week, which is the middle of April, I would start recording a 2-minute video every day on my phone of me talking about any topic. And what I would do is I would set an alarm for a specific time in a day. So let me say I choose 11 a.m., I choose 3 p.m., I choose 7 p.m., whatever time that is. Once the alarm goes off, I have to stop whatever I am doing. I turn the phone to me, selfie mode, press record, talk for 2 minutes, and then after the 2 minutes are done, I have to press save, and then I rewatch that. So the whole 2 minutes rule was just because I had to start from somewhere, and 1 minute is not enough. 2 minutes without, trust me, without hitting re-record, trust me, that takes the fear out of you as fast as you can be scared of a ghost, And the other idea I have to make this more impactful is that every week I add 1 more minute to that. So if this week for 7 days I've been doing 2 minutes, next week for 7 days I'll do 3 minutes. The next week for 7 days I'll do 4 minutes. The next week for 7 days I'll do 5 minutes of a video of me every day that I rewatch. You see how that works? So in a span of 30 days, because this is supposed to last 30 days, in a span of 30 days, trust me, when you watch the first video and you watch the last video, you're going to be more confident, you're going to know what to do, you're going to have identified your goals and where you want to, or how you want to present, what your style is, simply because you have watched and refined. Every day, subconsciously, as you are recording, you're actually, yesterday, let me say, I open my mouth too wide or something like that. There are those weird things that happen when you are recording that you only see after you have recorded. So I think that will be something that is interesting to do, and I would encourage anyone that is afraid to record. You can start with that 2 minutes, or start with 1 minute. Then the next week, just make sure that you are increasing the time so that it keeps being something that you are striving for. It's a daily discipline, yes, but it gets harder and harder. There is getting you out of your comfort zone so that you keep stretching yourself. And maybe for another week, you can decide I'll do 10 minutes, or you can decide to be very ambitious and do a podcast every day, a video podcast every day. I'm not judging you, just go on as long as it helps you to be more articulate. So that's my advice. And then number 5 is that I've been debating why I am doing this. So the truth is that these videos, the podcast, or at least on YouTube, have very little traction. I have done 50 episodes for this podcast, and the only place I have followers, I think, is TikTok. Otherwise, the IG, I don't remember how many followers I have on IG for the podcast, and not just for my ego, but like people that are interested in the content, I don't remember how much it is on IG. On YouTube, I think they're just either 10 or slightly above that or slightly below that, but they are around there. Spotify, they are below 10. Apple Podcasts, they are below 10. And the average listenership for each episode is about 6. While the highest grossed around 12, and that was the episode I did with Andrew, as well as I think it was the season 1 trailer. I don't know why that did so well as opposed to the others, maybe because it was the first video out there, so the algorithms try to push it out as much as possible. But all I'm saying is that I'm not doing really well, like when it comes to distribution and listenership for this podcast. And it kind of puts me in this position where I have to decide, should I continue to do the podcast even when no one is listening, or should I kind of sit back and say, you know what, I have to make terms with there being no listenership for this. I'm going to struggle for the first few years, or maybe months, or maybe weeks, although it has been months already. And it's going to feel like shit a lot, and maybe that's the path that has to be taken. Maybe this is not my path. But then I just scrapped all that, and I was like, you know what? If no one is going to listen to it, at least I listen to myself. I am being stubborn, but I am being stubborn simply because I know it's helping me. I don't think I would have been able to sit here the way I am and talk to whoever is listening at the end of it. No, not me. I am seriously introvert. I am very sure everyone that sees this video, wherever they are, whoever is listening to this, looks at it and is like, okay, this guy doesn't text me back on WhatsApp. This guy doesn't, and then he has time to do a podcast. Why? Trust me, it's not that I hate you. It's not that I don't like my friends. It's not that I don't like the people around me. It's just that I'm trying to build the skills that I am using within this podcast. So that is mainly my communication skills, my articulation skills, my presentation skills. That's all I'm trying to do. And putting myself out there in this manner is the best way to do that I have found, that I have researched. Another way would be to do it live, but I have to say I'm a little bit scared about that, and I don't really want to subject. Okay, guys, I'm just scared about that, so I'm not going to console for it. But yeah, so far, I'm just going to bank on the fact that I'm doing this for me, and I hope it pays out, at least in terms of growth. Maybe not in the other ways, but I'll continue to do this for anyone listening. High five to you, Raymond, because you're always listening. Okay, 6 is employment is hard for everyone, young or old, it doesn't matter. So I wrote this one down actually just today because I experienced something while I was working with a couple of people that I might continue to work with, though I don't know, but they are business partners. Or let me say I am working for them, but a contract. So what happened was that I've always thought that as the young people are the ones who will have trouble getting jobs. I have so many of my friends that don't yet have jobs. Or let me say I just know a lot of people that don't have jobs. And there was this other guy that came in and was actually given the job at first, but then the MD decided against it and fired. Okay, not even fired the guy, but he told him, no, I don't think you'll be a right fit within one day. I don't know if that qualifies as firing, but it just showed me that, wow, Whereas for us who are, like being afraid to be too young for the job, there is also another side of the coin whereby you can be too old for a position, whereby your age, as in terms of being old, actually disqualifies you for a position. Like, as young people, we don't really think about that. We are throwing tantrums that, life is unfair, it's hard to get a job, it's what. I mean, we are crybabies, and yes, we are young, we are naive at the moment. But seeing this happen to someone that is sincerely and sincerely has more responsibilities, that just put a lot into perspective, a lot that I should be grateful for the opportunities that I have. And I know I work for them. Yes, nothing has been given to me so far. From the first job I had, I worked my butt off for that job for 11 months for free before I was actually offered a contract. And that is something I will always tell anyone that will tell me that you had a job before you left campus. Bro, I was working while you guys were at hostel. So, I mean, it just showed me that, wow, while I am still young, I should make the most of the opportunities that I am given, despite how young I am. And I should actually never think about that in regards to, going for the opportunities that I have. I shouldn't talk about it. I shouldn't think about it. I shouldn't, put it out there. No, I should just say, I want this, I am qualified for this, and this is how I'm going to get it. The whole, I am this, I am being segregated against, it doesn't work. Because here was a guy who clearly might have kids that are not so far behind me, that need to, go to school. He has a family to feed, he has responsibilities, and he was denied an opportunity just because he was older. Just be grateful, guys. Just be grateful for the little opportunities that you have, is all I'm saying. I can't say much about this, but just be grateful. Okay, and then number 7. How do you warn your siblings and young ones of the impending doom without lecturing them? This one is also one it actually happened to them only, and it was off the back of the reflection of this older gentleman losing his job after one day. So I came back home and I thought about it. You guys, it just really put a lot into perspective that I had to reflect about the whole night yesterday. So today morning, while I was leaving home, my brother comes to open for me, and I'm seeing this kid is very, I should say, comfortable in what he has. Currently, right now, everything is being done for him. He has where to sleep, he has where to do this, he has a phone, he watches anime. And then when you look at other people out there, because he's in work, other people out there have something they are doing. Other people out there have connections that their parents have made. Other people out there have figured out life is not on their side and they are doing as much as they can instead of staying comfortable. Other people out there are not even thinking about this. So there is this whole spectrum of how responsible or what kind of initiative different people are taking for their lives. And I just don't want him to be in the lower quartile of people who really don't care and take what they have for granted, that they forget that life is actually still hard. So I was thinking of, how do I break it to him? How do I tell him the story in a way that, it motivates him to read more, not just, watch anime from morning to evening, chat with his friends, go out with his friends, what. That even through those activities that he's doing, he can start to build a life of purpose, a life that gives him direction in what to do, instead of just having it more of I should say a passive thing. He's just living life passively. So I don't know. I always looked at my parents telling me, you need to do this, why are you doing this, why are you sleeping in late, as lecturing me. And it's not that I fear to be the uncool brother or anything. I have been very tough on him at times. But how do you communicate that to a sibling or someone below you so that they take action, is what I just wanted to figure out, so that it motivates them. I don't know, do you act and let them copy from you? Do you do something? What do you do? I'm trying to figure it out. If anyone has an answer to that, I'm all ears. Okay, and then number 8 and lastly, so that I can wrap this episode up, is trying to get back on my feet. So I wrote this one just because for anyone that had followed the other bonus episodes, you'll know that I was having a bit of a challenge with the businesses, with signing clients and getting more work. So yeah, I'm now finding a steadier rhythm to everything, though my demeanor has changed simply because of the hardship I've been in. I am definitely not as naive as I was before this year began. A lot has changed these past 4 months that are definitely good for me, and are because I have put myself out there. I have taken the risks, and it was tough in March, even early April, but I'm now starting to get the hang of it. I know that it's going to continue to be hard, but I am stronger because of it. And I encourage anyone that is going through something that is remotely similar to this, that what, you can definitely make it through. You will be able to make it through. Just persevere, have grit, and plan it out. So without taking more of your time, thank you for listening to or watching the 5 to 9 Job podcast with me, Raymond Kirongi. If you found this video helpful, this episode helpful, please share it with someone else. Otherwise, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.